Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world show made for the fans by a fan. I am your host, as always, Richard Tiemann, and Fozzie's here with me. This is the award-winning fan show! I know that was a little odd extra in there, but ever since we got him and he's been big enough to hop up in my lap, he loves being here with me during these broadcasts. I don't know what it is, but every show I come here, I sit down, I get ready, and I get just this little face that looks up at me from down on the floor as I sit in my my fan throne at the command center, and he just looks at me like, hey, you're doing your thing, like I want to join. And then he hops up, and he just sits here. Just sits here in my lap while we do the show, and I love it. It's a blessing to have this little guy here. Isn't that right, Fozzie? Say hello. He's that calm. I don't know. Maybe it's the sound of my voice. Maybe that's a good thing, right? That I can put a kitten to sleep with my voice. Hopefully it's not the case for all of you out there in Fan Nation. It's been a big week for us, and it is the end of the Fan Show week. As you know, this is a Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday operation, and I am an advocate and a big one for the 4-day work week. So this is a 3-day work week when it comes to the hosting duties that I myself am responsible for. And it's funny that still getting a big reaction from everyone after my big free agency announcement, which I did it, and I wasn't sure like how it was going to be received or how it would go over, because I was like, here's something crazy I could do. Why don't I just announce that I'm a free agent and I'm willing to go where the work is? Because Spokane doesn't have a team. There's no word on how soon they're going to get a team. There's a lot of people that speculate, that say, oh, the rumor is, okay, it's just a rumor. And truth be told, okay, let's be honest here for a second, okay? This is not a matter of me tooting my own horn, but I do feel that after 3 years straight of doing this, and the people I've met, the relationships I have, and the connections I've made, if I'm not aware of something going on, it's probably not going on, okay? And I am aware of nothing going on with the Spokane indoor world, arena football or otherwise. So I want to go where the work is. So free agency announcement, it was one of two big announcements we've got coming up. Still hoping that the second big one, the announcement, happens tomorrow. We'll see, though, because I'm trying to figure out the perfect way to do it. I eked a little bit last night. Eek! When I saw what I could potentially be sharing with you all last night. And I'm very excited. I want it to be perfect. I'm a perfectionist here on the show. Everything's got to be right. I run this thing like a business, even though, especially after this year, I've paid out way more than I've gotten paid back in. So it's good, though. This is what I do. This is the fun stuff. Hey, don't scratch the couch. Don't. He had to walk away. I think he had to go to the bathroom. So big free agency announcement. Not sure what's going to happen with it. And so I do it. I Facebook Live it because I figured that was the appropriate platform and way to do it. And afterwards, I'm just like, what did I just do? Like, did I really? Because I didn't want it to come across as some like ego trip or an arrogance thing. It's seriously me just putting myself out there, like in high school when you've got the crush, right? There's the girl that's just, she's all that and a bag of Doritos, maybe the ranch flavored ones, and a Mountain Dew, right? She's all that and then some. And you go and you're like, you want to go out with me? Like you put it out there. You don't know what's going to happen, but you're just like, you want to go out sometime? And you don't, and maybe you write it in a note, maybe whatever, you send a carrier pigeon, and so you don't get the response right away, but you at least put yourself out there. Like, hey, you want to go to prom with me? Even something like that. So that's what this was to me. I didn't know what I was doing until it was already done. And then I'm like, what did I just do? But the response has been incredible. People are sharing it. People are wanting me in their city with their team. And I'll admit there's a few places that obviously have my attention that I would like to go to, that I would like to be a part of that world, that family. But I just want to go where the work is. I want to go where I can be placed in my industry and start moving towards the ultimate goal, which is once I graduate to have no more excuses, no more obstacles in my way, and we can make the fan show the very best that it can be without further interruption. And so now, it's been a few days, right? This is Thursday. I did the announcement Monday, and I got an email from my wife, and she's just like, so any word yet? And I'm like, no, but it's still very early. I mean, if anything, I would just expect maybe a few like, hey, we'll talk. Okay. Because I don't know when these decisions start to get made. I know that this is the time to talk about it, yes, but I don't know when these decisions actually get made and if I should like apply. But I said, I don't know what I just did. I put myself out there, and I don't know if that's like something that a person does. Like, that's not the way that people go about things, right? And she said, nothing you do is the way people go about things, and that's you. That is you. This is your way, and it couldn't be any other way. So there you have it. Apparently, me just flopping it out there on the table and being like, your move. Is the fan show way. But I am very excited for what the future holds and what could potentially come of this. I'm not getting my hopes too high. I think the response alone has been well worth my announcement and the way that I did it, knowing that people want me where they are, fans, players, and even coaches alike. So that alone in itself has been great. So I want to thank all of you in Fan Nation who have shared or have yet to share and have put the word out there that you want me where you are, and we'll just, it's a waiting game now. It always is, and that's where we're at now. So again, thank you, Fan Nation. So where will I end up? I don't know. It's a long off season, but of course plans do need to be made and money needs to be allocated for stuff, like for a move. Oh my God, I just got done setting up Fan Cave Studio the way I want it, and now, I mean, I could get a call tomorrow that says, hey, we need you for next season here in a month. I'd do it in a heartbeat, because that's what this has been all about. And so I'd have to box up everything. Oh my God, and I hate moving too. Which I think should tell you a lot about the decision to announce what I did and the way that I did. Is that, one, I'm not big on putting myself out there. I hide behind a microphone, kind of, right? I've gotten better about the whole in front of the camera stuff because I feel like I need to be. But behind the camera, this is my comfort zone, and I definitely took a giant leap outside of that with the announcement. And I've just, I wait now. I'm at the mercy of the people that are aware of what I want to do, and I hate moving, but I'm willing to move for you. So if you're listening out there, general managers, CEOs, owners, coaches, whatever, like if you want me there, me saying that I want to be there and would move when I hate moving all my stuff across the country, yeah. That says a lot from me here at the Fan Show. Guess we'll see what happens. Very exciting. And I know that there's going to be probably a period of time where I'm going to be like, nothing's going to come of this. And it very well could be. But at least I'm at the point where right now, the worst case scenario is simply that I'm doing the show the exact same way next year as I did it this year. And probably with some better planning, of course. I'm still trying to get my ass to Boston next weekend. That might not happen, although I miss my guys, Haig, Squally, Amir, all of them. So definitely want to go. But right now, because I've spent a lot of money this year on the show. I really have. And you guys are going to see some more of that. Because some of the stuff that I've paid for or am paying towards, because the shirts were just part of it, right? That is stuff that I get money back for because I am selling a majority of the shirts. I gave a bunch of shirts away, yes, as gifts to people that I wanted them to have a little piece of me, and I thought this was the best way to do that. But there's so much other stuff that I don't get reimbursed for, and that's stuff that Zach Warchek of Elephant Gun Riot did for me as far as editing my videos, the interviews I did down for BattleBots that you guys haven't even seen yet. Not even one of them, and there's several. And then I've got the big announcement coming up. There's a bunch of money that went into that and what had to happen in order for that to happen. And the new backdrop, the microphone when I do the post or pregame interviews, and just, travel and everything was pretty much how it was last year. But there's so much extras this year. I don't even want to try to ballpark how much I've spent on the show this year. And then I really don't want to compare it to last year. But those are your headlines. Not very much going on here. I got an email today from NFL about the press conference dates and times, the phone conference dates and times for some of the Hall of Fame inductees, including Randy Moss. I'm going to see if I can't tune into one of those, but we'll see. Regardless, though, I am very excited for what's to come, and just a big shout out to guys like Patrick Ryan, Mike Giorgetti, Craig Peterson, of course, all my friends that have shared the video and trying to help me get me to them or to wherever, whatever is going to best benefit me. So thank you guys. You guys are awesome. And with that, we're going to go to a commercial break. Don't forget to check out Dynamite Enterprises, the guy who made my shirts. And yes, shirts are still for sale. They're still available. Get your fan show merch now. And they are going to customize your world. There's so many things that they continue to share on their Instagram of things like, oh my God, I need one of those. Like, he's a money pit. He really is. But he's such a good one. Such a good money pit. And that's a good thing, right? If you're spending money on stuff that you know is good quality, you're spending good money on good quality, and Ethan's a pro, and he's going to work with you. And the guys at Undisputed Belts, they're going to work with you too. I mean, okay, so UPS's fault the belt didn't get there when it was supposed to, but man, they crushed it. I saw that thing in pictures. I wish I could have held it and given it to Ballantyne myself, but man, they continue to just be top notch, and I only want to deal with people who are top notch. So if you get an unpaid shout out from me on the show, like if you get a full on 30-second advertisement from me on the show and you didn't pay for it, that means a lot on the show. So Ethan of Dynamite Enterprises, and just Dynamite Enterprises in itself, customize your world. Hit him up, Ethan at dynamiteenterprises.com. Custom embroidery, screen print, banners, coasters, foam fingers, hats, t-shirts, whatever, they'll do it. And Undisputed Belts, they've got the belt for your occasion. You can either do a pre-made one of 4 choices for their cookie cutter belts, or you can go full on and have a custom-made one for anything from sibling rivalry to fantasy football. And that's going to bring us to the point of the show that I bring on my first guest, Jose Jefferson. We'll be right back with more of the Fan Show after this. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. Joining me is a former Indoor Football League head coach, but now he focuses on molding the youth in another way, and that's with his College Gridiron Showcase. It is Coach Jose Jefferson. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Doing great. I'm glad to hear the good news from you, or at least, potentially. The good news to me is that you're still in the loop. You're still a contender in the game, so to speak, and we'll talk about that a little later. But you've announced that you're doing not only your College Gridiron Showcase, but now another event. I mean, you're a busy man, and that's good. What else you got coming up for us?
Well, I mean, we obviously this will be our 5th year with College Gridiron Showcase, and we've expanded every year. It seems like it's getting bigger and bigger. Something that started out as a hobby, and now it's become a mainstay in the postseason All-Star bowl circuit per se. We become an NFL endorsed event, which means that we're on the NFL calendar, and we have all 32 teams there. We've had over 150 scouts and executives attend, and all the league, CFL, all their 9 teams attend, and we get a lot of the indoor teams. Obviously, you can look across every roster. There's a guy from CGS on every team in the IFL, and most of those coaches usually call me for those guys as it is anyway.
Wow, that's a great compliment. I'm glad to hear you are growing, expanding. Of course, been doing a little bit of that myself here with the show. But what's the new event that you announced that you wanted interested parties in? And it's like a one-day thing for people from the NFL, CFL, and even the new AAF, which I also wanted to ask you about. But what's this new like one-day event?
Well, we have a free agent event. We've done it before. It's basically an opportunity to showcase free agents, anybody that's under 26 or so, and under that have played college football. And I like to focus more on the indoor guys because they get a bad rap in terms of just being an indoor player. But we've done free agent events before, but the unique thing about our event is that it's fully padded. Not that it's full contact, but the scouts get an opportunity to see the guys in pads, and then we kind of eliminate the middleman because a lot of these leagues, NFL included, they'll get a guy in shirts and shorts, and it'll be the underwear Olympics, and then the excuse for not it is, and the excuse for not bringing them in is, well, we need to see you in pads.
Oh, jeez.
And right, and well, you're fast now, but how are you in pads? So the idea is not so much to have full contact and have guys get lit up as much as to be able to maneuver with pads. And then offensive and defensive line, they really, struggle with, showing what they can do with shirts and shorts on. So, I mean, it's a full event. We film it. We make the film available to the players so they can splice it and whatnot. And then we also send it to the NFL portal, which no free agent tryout does. So I feel we not only expose the players to almost 50 teams, we film it and it's padded, and we send the film out to the portal anyway, so they can splice it and make their little highlight films and whatnot. But the teams are already going to have the film, and so it's a unique thing that we do. We get a good chunk of the indoor coaches come. A good chunk of the indoor players come, and we'll get some semi-pro guys. We'll get some former college greats, and it's a good event. And like I said, we spend about 3 hours on the field to make sure everybody gets timed and gets repped and gets a great look. And then we also offer the teams that are there an opportunity to interview the players afterwards, which also no other tryout does.
Yeah, and I think that's great work that you're doing. Obviously, the more details I hear about it, the better I like the event. And, of course, you've been such a huge advocate for players at this level and, of course, coming out of college, like players that have missed opportunities for one reason or another. Now, is this something that you feel is helping to bridge the gap between the indoor level and the pro level of the CFL and the NFL? And if so, is it something that is also helping to squash the stigma that these guys at this level aren't real athletes?
Well, I mean, I don't think I don't think anybody's questioning their athleticism. There's a lot of factors that go into this, and I know I might rub somebody's rhubarb the wrong way, but quite honestly, and I'm going to be very real with this, it's development. And I'm gonna call out some of the coaches that are in indoor football. I don't feel a lot of them really develop the players the way they need to develop them. I mean, there's some talented cats out there in indoor football, and they've come from talented programs long before they've even hit the indoor football field. But when they get to that certain point in time, they need to develop. And if you're not developing these players, they're not going to go anywhere.
Yeah.
So I mean, a perfect example, and I'm not saying I'm a guru. I'm not saying I'm the best guy at doing it, but I can say this with all equivocation. I'm the only indoor football coach that has moved a guy to the NFL that has sustained a career that's over a year.
Wow.
Fred Jackson played for over 10 years, you know, and how we developed Fred, and I say we because it was the whole team. It was my staff. We developed Fred from ball security to receiving out of the backfield because he's got great hands, but he didn't snatch the ball out of the air. We improved him in blocking. We improved him in pass pro, all that good stuff. And when he got to the Bills, and to this day, he will tell you he was complimented on his blocking. And so when you can develop guys, I mean, when I look at guys that develop guys, I mean, obviously you go from the top of the list with a guy like Curtis Riggs, develops guys. Guys get better when they play for him. Kevin Guy develops guys, and they get better playing for him. And there's a lot of other guys I can go down the list, but those are the two current hot guys that do that. And so the stigma starts with the development. And then when you go to the players themselves, I think there's some guys in there that have some great resumes from indoor football. And it's a tough game to play. And so since nobody plays indoor in high school or college, there's no judge for it to how it's going to translate to the pro or outdoor game. So these guys need to get their tape, get developed, and show what they can do outdoors, which is why we do our free agent event.
Awesome. Well, I do love the event. I always appreciate your honesty because, you know, it's something that people may not know that they need to know, and any players listening, you know, they need to be aware that it's about more than just winning a championship in an indoor league. It's about trying to get you to the level that you want to be at, and that comes from development and practice and making sure that they're getting the right workout during the games and not just during practice. So let's play the speculation game here. Just short answers because I know that you're one to speculate. First question is, which perfect segue from what we were just talking about. Iowa's win in the indoor football league meant what for the indoor leagues?
Great things. Curtis Riggs is one of my better friends in the business. I've known him for almost 20 years. But when you can have 3 years of indoor football and 3 different champions, that's some good parity.
Yep.
Good parity. Great for the league.
Now, did this establish any kind of dominance for the IFL as far as players looking to go to one of there's several leagues out there, but as far as the Midwest goes, there's a lot there, and the IFL has sort of been kind of the flagship of indoor football next to the Arena Football League. Do you feel that this has made it a more attractive landing spot now?
I think it's been the most consistent.
There you go.
And I'm a former AFL player, and looking at it now compared to 25 years ago, yeah, it's a shadow of itself. The CIF, from what I know, is solid, but when you have teams dropping mid-season and things of that nature and not being able to finish, it always gives you a black eye. And the IFL, even though they had 6 teams, you got some great ownership groups in that league, to where I think the owners in that league are more dominant than a lot of other leagues. I mean, and even barring the AFL, because I think their fees are astronomical and ridiculous. But no, I really feel the IFL, they don't need a lot of teams. If they get 12 teams, that pretty much all. That's all they'll probably need to be a dominant league.
What teams would you like to see in the IFL next year?
Wow.
That aren't currently in it right now.
It'd be nice to see Omaha come back.
Yeah, that
because
was one of my
it's centrally
picks.
located.
Yep.
I'd like to see Quad Cities.
Yep, another one of my picks.
I think they're probably a flagship. Selfishly, I would say Sioux City. I know it's not going to happen, but I just know how those days were when I was there, with those rivalries. And since they won, I would say Duke City. It'd be interesting. it'd be an interesting dynamic to see how they would fare. I watched that game and I thought they were very talented and well coached. Great game to watch, but I think you got to include Salina in that mix, potentially Wichita, and you're outside of Duke City. You're really not going to get close to Arizona unless you start getting some expansion out there, like a San Diego or Portland or even a Boise for that matter.
Yeah.
But obviously they don't exist yet per se. But the current ones, if you can go down that Kansas line, even Kansas City, if they can fix some ownership issues, you've gutted the pretty dominant markets in the Midwest.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think a lot of those teams would bode very well for the Indoor Football League without having to force a merger, which we all know is just silly talk at this point. But I'm a free agent now. I don't know if you know, but where would you like to see me end up?
I think you would be a star anywhere, dude. I mean, you're. I'm just being real. I mean, you are the beacon of hope for indoor football, the voice. I mean, and that's what the sport needs. I mean, I've been involved in indoor/arena football since '93, and it's a drug,
Yep.
and it's a love. And,
It is.
to have somebody like you to go and do the things you do, it's not so much where I would want you. Obviously, I'm selfish. If I had a team, I'd want you where I'd be at. But I think anywhere you go, you're going to be appreciated, loved, and have the following that you do now.
Well, I really appreciate that, Jose. It's always an honor, privilege to talk to you. I try to practice more fan show, less forum, because there's a lot of negativity out there. I'm glad you laugh at that because you know exactly what I'm talking about. You got You got any good news for us, though? I love breaking good news.
I wish I had some good news. I mean, I could tell you that there are some interested parties in my coaching services, or for my coaching services, I should say. I'm very particular at this day and age due to, like I said, when I first started coaching in indoor football, which was 1998, the salaries were a lot different. The leagues were a lot different. And, I was not the coach I was 17 years ago and made a lot of money for not being as decent as I am now. And I like to say decent, not that I'm great, but I'm definitely a lot better of a coach than I was when I started out. And now, and now the salary is a lot smaller due to what the IFL puts you through, but my expectation is higher due to my background.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
It's tough. And plus, like I said, I went through two bad teams in a row. Obviously Mankato, which never really got off the ground, and then the organization formerly known as Franchise. and it was funny. I was asked about in one of my interviews, I was asked about working for Franchise, and they said, describe working for Franchise. I said, working for Franchise is like going to the bathroom and coming out with a doggy bag. Okay. And I meant it 100%. And they laughed too. And, God love them, but definitely not an advocate of indoor football, and definitely did not do things the way they should have. But hopefully the ownership groups I've spoken to know what they're getting with me, and trust me, you'll be one of the first people to know if I have something or if I decide to take something. But last year going to Colorado was a prove it thing to myself, because I've been through the highs and lows of all this indoor football, and I love the game, which is why I do what I do with the game with CGS, because I think it's important. I think it's a mainstay. I think when you get with the right owners and the right community, you can have a Sioux Falls, you can have an Arizona, an Iowa, and they just need to find more owners willing to do that and communities willing to support it.
Yeah, and I think we're on the verge of it. Mike Allshouse, I know he's such a politician when it comes to his responses, but I do believe him when he said after the game that the brightest years for indoor football and the Indoor Football League are ahead, because it needed to have this last 3 years. It really did, even if it meant a 6-team league this year. But hey, Jose, always an honor and a privilege, my friend. And, selfishly, if you do end up with a team and you want me there, I mean, say no more. I would love to be on that maiden voyage with you. I think it would be a hell of a lot of fun, a great experience. But until then, your showcase and your events, granted, what you do is an amazing thing for young players. I'd love to be a part of that in any way, shape, or form that I can and can help. So you just let me know and I'm there, and I will help you however I can do to continue to spread the good message.
I appreciate it. And like I tell people all the time, I'm just trying to be the person I didn't have when I was their age. That's all.
Yep. I completely agree. He is Jose Jefferson, the only coach I know to get fired for winning in Colorado. But
sometimes winning isn't enough, right?
Exactly. All right, Coach. You have a good one. I'll let you get back to it.
Thank you. Take care.
You too. Bye. Oh, I love Jose. He's a riot. Oh, the fact that him and I have the relationship that we do, where we can joke around, we can be real, and he'll pick up what I'm laying down when it comes to subtle. Okay, jabs. They're jabs. All right, they're not subtle. They're real. But I love it because it's so much fun. That's what this is all about. So with that, then, we are going to go to our last commercial break, and I will be back with Sean Brackett of the Massachusetts Pirates. Don't go anywhere. We got plenty more Fan Show right after this. You're listening to The Fan Show, your home for all things football and nonsense. My special guest tonight, Farouk. Farouk, welcome.
He's no expert, but here's the thing. Football and nonsense is what he brings. Sports talk with a twist. It's The Fan Show!
Do you know him as Kevin from the League? It is none other than very funny Steve Ranazisi.
99% of the population doesn't know who I am, but the 1% do. They yell and scream inappropriate things at me in public.
Kyle Ray. Kyle, welcome.
And I was like, wow, I think we just saw the whole Super Bowl, Phyllis. It was like that scene in The Simpsons, like, why rent the movie? I just saw the best part.
Funny man Brad Williams.
Yeah, I'm here. I flew in just for your podcast. I've heard about this podcast. I've heard it's fantastic.
It's Mac and Farva, but they are my special guests tonight. Steve Lemmy, Kevin Heffernan.
I was in Mexico for 10 weeks in a Speedo. Like, that was me going to work. I was putting on a Speedo.
Farva is the most fun to play, and it was a blast to do that again, to do Farva again.
So then the makeup artist had to put Vaseline on your body, right?
Yeah.
And then put the powdered sugar on top of that. Is your name really Richard Siemens?
Listen live every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday night on Spreaker.com, or subscribe to the podcast on iTunes and SoundCloud. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. Here to help us close out the Fan Show week is the quarterback of the Massachusetts Pirates, Sean Brackett. Sean, welcome to the program. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you? Appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, man, you're a tough rundown, but always worth it. Quarterbacks are in such high demand, and of course, I know Amir, and I know him well, and if you're his QB, man, it must have been something. But you're quite the indoor and arena veteran, so a privilege to have you on. How's the bye week treating you?
Good. Just going out to dinner now. So got some great Italian food up here in the north end of Boston, so can't beat it.
Now, where are you native from?
I'm from Connecticut originally, but I live in Boston now. So I've been here for about 3 years.
So I take it was a no-brainer when you saw that Massachusetts was going to have an indoor team, because Nick Hague, I mean, you guys pretty much play in his backyard. He loves it because he was as far away from home as you could get when he played for us here in Spokane.
Right. Yeah, no. So I go back a little bit with Jawad. We played together in China, and so became pretty friendly with him. And then once, obviously, the opportunity came to stay here and play, like, can't really pass that up. So definitely blessed to be in this position, and happy to be here.
Yeah, no, I can't wait to. I hope to see you guys play in Boston. I've never been to Boston, and I know I miss my guys from Spokane, and they've been doing great this season. You guys have definitely exceeded expectations. But I feel like I kind of had an inkling as far as the potential of this team because Amir has done great work as a coordinator and now as a head coach. What was there any selling that needed to be done from him to you to get you to quarterback his new franchise expansion team?
So when we're going through the negotiation process, I've had a couple offers to go back to the Arena League. They're going back in Washington, a couple other teams in Albany and stuff like that. But the opportunity just is to stay at home. I'm living at home. I can see my girlfriend every day. And I can continue to teach. It's my first year teaching. So all that kind of combined into the opportunity that Amir and Jawad kind of presented to me. And it just turned into something I couldn't pass up. So I love being here. I love the opportunity that happened. And we're playing good football, so can't really beat it right now.
Yeah, no, you can't really beat it. You guys have had a tremendous season. You guys will get to finally host the Carolina Cobras next weekend. You guys played twice there. This is the first time they're coming to your house, and you guys are hoping to close that gap there. The standings, the top four, very close race right now. So it's been a very exciting season. No disappointment at all, and it should be a fantastic finish going into the postseason and then the championship. But for people that don't know, obviously players come from all over. I mean, where they play college ball isn't even where they grew up and played high school ball at 9 times out of 10, and then they get drafted and they go somewhere else. So they can hop around quite a bit in like an 8-year time span. For you to be able to play at home and having played away from home, like just how much difference does it make for you on a day-to-day, week-to-week basis playing the sport you love?
It's like I said, it's a blessing to be able to come home and play, but it does present some difficulties as well. It's a lot of time management as far as just being at home, juggling your actual job, and then going to work and going to practice, meetings, stuff like that. When you're kind of away from home, it's all football. So now that I'm playing at home, and thankfully the school year is over with, so I'm back to 100% football. But during the school year, it's definitely a lot of time management. Go to school all day, get a workout in, go to meetings, go to practice, and then start all over again. So, like I said, it's a blessing to be at home. I'd rather be sleeping in my own bed at night every single night. But it does present some other challenges as well. So it's always just it's a juggling act, you know what I mean? So I'm happy to be here, happy to be in Massachusetts, and I think they're happy to have me as well. So it's worked out well.
Now, is that something that is an option that you get, or whatever saves the team money? Because you mentioned that you sleep in your own bed at home. I know for some organizations and teams, they prefer that all the players, even if you play in your own hometown, that you be like with the team as like, a showing as a cohesive unit. But at this
right.
level, wherever you can cut costs, and if that's player housing, then that's obviously one of them. So did you have the choice where you could roommate with somebody this season, or was it like the first choice was like, hey, if we're in your hometown, like you can live at home?
No, they definitely gave me the option to stay in Worcester and be there the whole time. But I think my girlfriend she wanted me to be at home, obviously. So that was a big deciding factor, to be able to stay home with her, live with her the whole year instead of for 4 or 5 months at a time. So that was big for us. So I'm happy that they gave me the option, and I'm happy to be in South Boston, and I'm traveling to Worcester every day, but that's the sacrifice I'm willing to make, and I love it so far. So it's kind of a win-win.
What kind of commute is that for you? Like for people that don't know the distance from your home to where you guys practice and play at, like what kind of daily commute is that?
It's about an hour.
That's not bad.
Not bad. You gotta fight some Boston traffic every now and then, but you kind of grin and bear. You gotta do what you gotta do. Like I said, man, once you're going to play football, you don't really worry about the traffic. You don't really worry about all the extracurricular stuff going on. You're just going there, and you clock in, lock in, and it's all football once you get there. So that hour doesn't really affect me.
Now, you've been around a lot of teams in the indoor game. Is this the first expansion team you've played for?
No, this is actually my third.
Wow.
So I'm pretty used to the expansion experience. Yeah. And, my rookie year, I was in Las Vegas. I was playing in the AFL. Played in Las Vegas, expansion team, first-year team. They ended up folding. Next year, I was in Jacksonville, so they were a little bit established. And then last year, I was in another expansion team with the Washington Valor in D.C. So this is my third year as an expansion team. So I know kind of the ins and outs of all the growing pains that go along with being an expansion team. But Jawad, the ownership, all the staff with the Pirates, they've done an A1 job. They've really done a great job of handling all things off the field and just letting the football players worry about football. And some other situations, that's not the case. So big shout out to those guys. They're doing a great job. And like I said, I'm happy to be here. So it's worked out.
Yeah, ownership in a great front office is so key at this level. It's a thing that a lot of people, I think, overlook or even take for granted. I mean, Iowa has one of the best front offices I've ever been around, and now they finally won their first championship. And I think the fans, finally it dawned on them just how much the front office does for a team and ownership, because you got to have people willing to cut the checks for the places they need to go, because the players putting the quality product out there on the field is like so secondary to making sure that you have everything else in the right place and all the stuff is paid for. So I'm glad that the NAL and the Pirates especially are practicing good practices when it comes to good business for this league at this kind of level. But how'd you start out? What initially got you into the game? How long have you been playing for collectively?
So graduated from Columbia in 2013. Went through the whole NFL process. Originally thought I was going to get signed by the Falcons after the draft. They're talking to my agent. We had some good communication. Didn't work out with me, and they ended up signing a veteran quarterback. So after that, went through the CFL kind of negotiation list. I was with Iowa Red Blacks. They had me on their list for a while. They did not end up signing me, so it was kind of a issue with myself and my agent trying to get myself out of their negotiation list so I can talk to other CFL teams. So they kind of try to stash me. But once I got off the negotiation list, I was able to sign with the Outlaws in Las Vegas, play arena football. And that was kind of just out of the blue. Like obviously I was seeing arena football because just being a football guy. I see arena football on ESPN2 or ESPN every now and then, you know. And I just got a call kind of out of the blue. They called my agent. They talked to me, and the rest is history. So it was the first year, 2015, I played there. And then it's been pretty much indoor football ever since. So it's been a good thing. And I love the game. I mean, especially as a quarterback, when they say you can throw 100 touchdowns a season, your eyes kind of light up. So it's worked out well. So I'm enjoying it.
Well, that's good, and glad to have you in a league like the NAL. I have a tremendous amount of respect for the powers that be and what they've done with the league the last 2 years, and of course, very grateful for the opportunity that Amir and the rest of the guys from Spokane have gotten as a result. Now, Amir was a coordinator on the defensive side here in Spokane. I did get to see him head coach Bloomington Edge last year, but that was one game, and the games weren't otherwise televised. But so I've seen him, up close and in person, and I've seen him on YouTube broadcast this year. And I got to know, from an offensive standpoint, like, I've seen him give an earful to guys on the defense. What's it like being his quarterback?
We have a great relationship. You know what I mean? I think it's kind of the three heads is the owner, the head coach, and the quarterback. So myself, Amir, and Jawad, we have a great relationship, a great working relationship, and it's based off just work, man. You just got to go in there every day. You got to grind. You got to watch film. You got to work out. You got to have a great practices day in and day out. Amir's an intense guy, man. Like you can probably see on YouTube, he'll get in the referees' faces, he'll get in the defensive guys' faces, and he'll do his thing. But he kind of lets the offense just handle itself. So we have a great offense coordinator, Anthony Payton. He's doing a great job, putting me in great opportunity to be successful. And it's kind of AP got the offense. Amir has the defense, and it's worked out well so far. So, like I said, it's a good working relationship, and I think we've done well so far. So this is working pretty good.
So what would a championship mean to you this season, it being your third expansion team, but now you're in front of your hometown, your family, your friends, everybody, and that's the case for a couple of guys on that squad, but specifically you, what would that mean to bring it home?
It's big. It's big. I mean, we've talked about it since day one in camp. I think we brought together the talent that you need. I think we've gelled together throughout the year, gone through some ups and downs, overcame some adversity. But professionally, I haven't won a championship. I haven't won championships since probably middle school. So I'm hungry for it, man. I want the ring on my finger. I think I can say that for the rest of my squad too. We're all hungry for it, and we're willing to do whatever it takes. So, especially being at home in front of, like you said, family and friends, we want to bring it back to Worcester, man. We really want that championship. I think we have the team to do it. We just got to focus every single day, work every single day, and make that possible. So, it'll be big.
One thing I've noticed at this level is that when you have a team like Green Bay where football is life there's always a good turnout no matter what the level of sport is, or especially football. Iowa, kind of a lot of it's kind of minor league life there, right, with baseball, hockey, and indoor football. But Arizona has a team in every sport at every level, and so it's just kind of conditioned people to go out and enjoy sports on the weekends. What's it like for you guys, though, being in one of these sports capitals of the world for not only all three of the big ones, NBA, baseball, and NFL, but for just sports in general? Has that been tough, or have you guys been well received this year?
I think we've been very well received. So, I mean, Massachusetts is the state of champions. You know, we got the Red Sox, Patriots, and the Celtics and the Bruins. So, I mean, past 6 to 8 years, I can't even put how many championships they've had throughout those four sports. So, it's kind of expected. You have a team out here. They expect you to go there, compete, and be in the playoffs and win championships every single year. So, there's already a little bit of pressure on us just to go out and perform right away. But like I said, the city of Worcester has been great. The fans have been out there, man. We already got diehard fans already within year one, which you love to see. And like I said, in some other expensive teams, there was no one there at the games. You know what I mean? And we're out there with basically 4, 5, 6, 7, 8,000 people there, and they're rocking that place. So that's what you want to see. Obviously, as a player, you want to play in front of a big crowd, and the fans, they want to see a great product on the field. I think it's been working out great for us, and hopefully we can bring home a championship for them as well.
Well, Boston fans, a stronghold seems like dangerous territory for any away team, even the home team, but I'm glad that you guys have had a great showing in your inaugural season, and I'm glad it's gone so well record-wise. I mean, it's not all about winning, but it definitely helps a lot, alleviate a lot of stress there. So, Sean, I'll let you get back to enjoying your bye week. Thank you so much for making your debut and taking some time to be here on the show. Tell Amir and the rest of the guys I said hello, but best wishes and luck on the rest of your NAL season.
Appreciate it, man. Thanks for having me on.
Hey, anytime. You take care.
All right, go Pirates.
All right, that was Sean Brackett, quarterback of the Massachusetts Pirates, and that is going to do it for another hot July week on the F.A.N. Show. This is the first full week in July that we've done, and it is a scorcher, both with the temperature and the content. I got a huge shout out to the guys that have been guests on this week. Couldn't have asked for a better lineup, and I might not get as good a lineup this week as next week as I did this week, or even future weeks now. But we will definitely do our best here at the F.A.N. Show to continue to bring you the very best in football and nonsense. But it was all football today, a little bit of nonsense with Jose Jefferson, always good for a laugh, and it's gonna put a nice little bow on it. So shout out to Joe Stacy, voice of the Iowa Barnstormers, for doing the last little bit there for the IFL and the United Bowl recap. That was truly an honor to have him on once again. Last night, Hal Rucker of Duck, Matthew Vasquez of Whiplash for BattleBots. That was a great twofer for our weekly BattleBot segment. And then, of course, tonight, Jose Jefferson, Sean Brackett on the show, talking some more indoor football and then some developmental, as well as trying to get young players to where they want to go in life, and that's that next level. So don't forget, follow me on social media. Twitter is @FanShowOfficial. Facebook, 900 likes and counting, is facebook.com/FanShowOfficial. Instagram needs a little work, needs some love, simply The Fan Show, so go and give it a follow. I do the visual stuff pretty good. And then you have Snapchat, which is The Fan Show, thefanshow.com, your home base for all things football and nonsense. And you can listen to the podcast if you can't listen live, and that's available in many forms: iTunes, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, and, of course, Spreaker.com. Subscribe, listen, love, share, like, whatever you do. Tell your friends, tell your friends' friends. Let them know that The Fan Show is a free agent and is one of the best sources of entertainment when it comes to sports variety and football and nonsense. So until next time, ladies and gentlemen, best of luck to you and yours. Go Niners, and remember, of course, it's all fun and games until you butt fumble. Good night, folks!
Do you remember the time that Mark Sanchez ran into his own player's butt? That was funny sports.
Thank you for having me on the show, man. I love the Fan Show.